Hey Donna, we made it.
Oh, how long? Oh, I just moved my.
It only took us a few hours to set up.
Yeah, no big deal.
So today's the first day of hopefully what is going to be many podcasts,
Conversations,
which are really just the recordings of what has already been thousands of hours,
literally,
of conversations that we've already had.
God bless it.
Over this topic. So
I wish we would have been recording the whole time.
I know, yeah. We have covered quite a few things. Honestly, we have. We could have written an encyclopedia or a book.
So true.
On divorce already. So, or just women topics in general.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But I asked you to come today because I think we both have come to a place in life where we have such a great understanding.
Mm-hmm.
From our divorces.
Yes.
And just, I'll give a quick recap of me. You give a quick recap of you. I've been divorced, I think, about 5 years.
Okay.
I was married for 13 years. I have 5 kids with the person I was married to. I really have not had any relationships outside of my divorce.
Right.
And you go ahead and give your recap.
Well, I mean, I got married very, very young also, and I did the exact opposite. And so I went from getting a divorce to going right into another relationship, to getting divorced, to going right into another relationship, and then repeating that one more time.
Right.
So now I have been single for 6 years from everything I've learned and all the healing and just that repetitive pattern. So I did exactly the opposite. I've got 3 kiddos, and two are from one father, one are from another. So
yeah,
we're like so alike, but so opposite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there, like I said, there's thousands of hours and so many things that I want to go over. In this specific session, if you will, I wanted to go over why specifically I did decide not to divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why specifically why I decided not to date after my divorce. Yeah. It's one of the questions that you get asked the most. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, God has someone for you.
And you're like,
when are you going to date? I got divorced when I was 30. You're so young, and first, I want to say that there's no shaming for anybody that whatever you decided to do, everybody's different.
Yeah.
I had what I felt like was right for me. And there's also some principles that I feel like are important for just about anybody that is going through a divorce.
Yeah.
So, but in a nutshell, the 3 reasons that I decided not to date after my divorce were my kids, trauma, and I wanted to do things right.
Right.
So we're going to talk about just that third one here, and we can't possibly cover everything
we'd be here
we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to kind of talk about wanting to do things right. And for me, what that meant was not trying to rush into another relationship without really, honestly, I don't even want to say without doing the inner healing first, because that sets up the idea that, okay, if I do the inner healing first, the relationship is still the end goal.
Right.
And I just don't even like the idea of the relationship being the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
And that was my pot of gold.
I hate that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like so many people, when you get out of your, this bad relationship, the first thing you think of is like, I want to get all of these things that I did not get for all these years.
Yes.
I deserve all of this. I've been lacking. I've been this. And the best thing you can come up with is a man.
Sorry, guys.
That's the best thing you could come up with. Like, I have higher ideals for my life.
This is why I love our friendship.
Honestly, it was the last thing on my list.
Right.
I mean, it's not that I want you to want less for your life. I want you to want more. So it just was not even a thought for me.
Yeah.
I think that I was concerned about security for my kids. I was concerned about emotional and spiritual wholeness, concerned about finding my own purpose, fulfillment, finding just, finding myself, and I think that there's a tendency in our culture to have almost what I would call it toxic companionship, where when a man or a companion is seen as the highest reward in life, and your value in life is only if you can attain it. Speak to that.
So I just think for me, it was kind of the opposite, right? For me, it's hard to verbalize a lot of what you go through and you think of after. But, at the underlying for me, it was never a thought of, oh my gosh, I need to be alone. I need to heal. I need to figure out who Donna is. It was, oh, now let me fix what I broke and find better, or like not better, but how can I not be tragic? How can I, there's a word I'm trying to look for, but it's based like almost like remedy the mistake I had made. Now I'm going to find better, and some of it is really not being ready to be alone, or being so used to from such a young age having chaos surrounding you or having someone with you all the time. Like I used to be like run around, always busy, never dealing with anything. And so it was like, and one of my biggest issues was I fell in love with potential. I fell in love with the idea of a person and not the person. So I would make up these scenarios in my head of when I was in high school, in my senior book, what do you want to be? A wife. I wanted to be married. I wanted to have that family. I wanted to have that structure, that safety. And I thought that's the fulfillment. That's the full fulfillment. And so for me, like it was grasping. And so I'd fall in love with the idea. I'd fall in love with the potential. And then, oh, wait, here's a real person. I didn't wait and see what kind of person they were, or, you know what I mean? Go through all the stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't know who I was. And so like, it was like one after the other. And it's not to say anything bad about me, because I love hard, I love well, but looking back, it's like, you have to take the blame where it is. And if I would have just slowed down, gotten to know me, had that time by myself, figured out who I was. That's why I've been single so long now, because I have standards. I know exactly what I want. My life is peaceful. And so until that comes along, that adds to it, I'm okay. I'm really okay. And I wasn't okay before.
Right.
I think that's the difference. And I think it's the way you did it. I think people can say whatever. And there's people watching that are doing both, or one or the other, and they're going to relate to one of us. But to me, it's like, goodness gracious, I wish I would have slowed down, taken some time, just me and the kids, had some life, figured it out, and then went, this is exactly what I want. And I'm okay waiting for exactly what I want.
Right. And there's no guarantee that means that you will get what you want.
No,
This is not a movie or a story where we could say A plus B equals C.
And that is my problem. I watched way too many Nicholas Sparks books, and I thought someone was just going to see me across the room and fall in love with me from a distance, and everything was going to be perfect.
Right.
But I also never had a good marriage modeled to me. You know? So I didn't know what marriage actually looked like.
Yeah.
It's hard and messy, but beautiful.
Right.
And so like a lot of mine, like I know, past triggers, which I now can recognize, played a huge part in my choosing, my reacting, how I was. So that's another part of the healing, like figuring it out.
Yeah. I just think that, and maybe it's also the age that we're at. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah.
I'm 36.
I'm 46 this year.
46. It's hard for me to think of that. You don't look or seem 46.
Don't feel 46.
Not that that's an old number. I'm just saying.
I mean,
you don't seem older than me, but the reality is that we've talked about this as a whole nother podcast. The dating pool at our age is limited at best. You know what I mean? So, it's also kind of like, if you choose you and wholeness or your kids' wholeness or purity or putting God first or all these, if you choose all those things first.
Yeah.
And there still may not be a person that comes along for you. Like,
because if the dating
it's still
pool is
worth
already,
choosing the right things.
I agree.
But the reality is, like if you had gone back and not, wasted time with people that were the wrong thing, that doesn't mean that necessarily someone great would have come along at that time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, sometimes the choices are right and wrong, and you still aren't going to get what you want at the right time.
Well, that's true. And if we're talking about, which it is another podcast about dating today,
right?
With everything being accessible, with everything being so it's just a wild time. So, you've got this smaller dating pool, and then the age smaller, and then the values smaller, and then the purity smaller.
Right.
And so you do all of that, and it's like, okay, Lord, is, everyone's cliche of, oh, God's going to bring you the right person, or you're going to, and it's like, well,
there might be only like 5 right people
And-
alive left on this earth at this point.
Okay,
Like,
that's how I'm feeling. Like, and then I'm like, am I that picky? And I'm like, no, because I genuinely know God's love, the love of my family, my kids, and my peace is so much more valuable
right.
than choosing wrong again. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
I've not right for me.
Right. And I think
life.
that's where you have to get that, like, I don't want to sell the message that companionship is not important, or that you should let go of your dream to get married. I
want to
hope that one day that I can find somebody.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say that there's not times when I don't wish that I had somebody.
Same.
But I'm not going to say it is the number one acute pain of my life, or that it's the overwhelming, consuming thing in my life, because it's not number one on my list. And you have to be okay and find fulfillment and purpose in your life without that. And then if God brings it, that's okay. But if he doesn't, you're not going to destroy your life by choosing the wrong people, because you cannot live without it.
And that's where you and I, and our differences, now we collide, and now we're the same.
Yeah.
Because same thing, right? So whatever it took to get us here, we're at that same point of, there are days where I am alone, and like 2 of my kiddos are off in college, or not off in college, they're often married with babies, and I've got one at home, and he goes to his dad's a lot, and holidays and things, I'm in a state by myself, no family. There are days where it would be nice to come home at the end of the day and have someone to put my head on their shoulder, or tell about my day, or take up any burden. And you know this as well as I do, single mom of kids, and you have a couple more than me, but it's literally like sometimes the financial burden being eased would be so great. Or sometimes just at the end of a long day, I don't want to carry a case of water up the stairs.
Right.
Or it would be nice to be passenger princess, or not have to deal with car issues. I hate car issues. A single independent woman until something happens with the car.
Dadgummit.
And so like there are times, but like you said, it's getting to the point where that is not the driving factor of all things. And it's like, it would be a great bonus. I would love to find that. I would love to find a love that lasts forever now, and have that. And, who knows, but it's not the one thing I'm ultimately seeking.
Right.
I mean, at all. Like fulfillment, like you just said, getting to know yourself, hobbies, friendships, traveling, like all those things, they can be fulfilling enough until,
Right. And that kind of brings me to kind of shifting gears a little bit. And this is something we have kind of talked about. So another reason that I didn't date after my divorce is partly because I just did not want someone to come and rescue me.
You're such a...
I was not about to have someone come in and swoop me up. And, I was in this place of where I felt like the book of my life had been opened and wiped clean.
Yeah.
And my identity and my purpose and my name had been wiped clean. Everything on if you opened up the book and said, who is Stefania? That page had been wiped clean. And I was not about to let someone else come in and write that page.
Oh, and I wanted that. I was like, come and rescue me.
And I was just, it's not that I wish that there was some fairy tale where that would happen. But at the same time, I knew no one can help me out of this. I have to get out of this for myself. Yeah. But at the same time, that can kind of become a little bit of an unhealthy defiance.
Yeah. Yeah. And you defiant?
Me?
Weird.
Defiant? And and it can also become a little bit of a fear of being controlled. My biggest fear was being owned. Yeah. Someone feeling like they owned me.
Yes.
If you would have asked me 5 years ago at the beginning of my divorce, at the end of my divorce, why I didn't want to get married. First off, the thought. I didn't understand why people would even bring the thought up. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, what?
Yeah.
Why don't I want to get married again? Because,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Like, absolutely never again. And I'm like, bring it
but
on.
at the time, like my answer would have been like, I need a new owner. Like I need a shot in the foot.
Right.
Okay. You know,
Right.
like it just, I could not comprehend it, but
Right.
that was because I had been so traumatized.
Right. Exactly.
So, and it took me a while to get over that.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get to the point where I realized, you know, number one, I don't have to be so defensive. Not every man wants to
Yes.
dominate and control me and suck the life out of me and choke me to death.
Look at you.
Look at me, I'm getting so far. But all love, true love, is redeeming, and at its nature, it rescues you.
Yeah.
It's not real love if it doesn't want to rescue you in some way.
But
it's
in
not
the right
love.
way, and not in the bad way, in the way God designed it and intended it. And that's the difference. That's the shift. Right. And me, it was like, you were like, absolutely not. And I'm like, okay, how do I make the next one better? How do I make the next one better? How do I not be a failure?
Yeah.
How do I make it great? And let's go. Come on. And it literally was. If you look at timeline for me, it's embarrassing now, but God's redeemed that. And he's, you know, taken away that shame. But it was pretty back to back to back. And it was like, not even realizing it. It was just that way. It was like, oh, and it's crazy now because if you look at who I've been with, they're all so opposite. Yeah. There's no like linear, like you can't even make it up if you tried. Right. And it just kind of shows like, you know, 19, 20 something, you know, really, really young in the throes of little kids and busyness and life.
But we all compulsively cope in some ways. Yeah. For you, it was relationships. For me, it was being a workaholic. Yeah. Yeah. You know? Yeah. I could not stop working. Yeah. And part of that was being a single mom of 5 kids. Right. Right. And feeling like I need to. And we had come from extreme poverty, so I felt like I needed to. But I could not stop feeling like I needed to produce and be productive. Yeah. And I think that their defense mechanisms, their coping mechanisms, their healing mechanisms. Yeah. And also, do you think, and I don't know if this is anything, we don't have to get deep into it, but I do think there is the aspect of like, you have a great relationship with your dad. Like, you know, you have a healthy relationship with your dad. And, you know, maybe for some people that matters or doesn't, but I did not, you know, so there's always I definitely think that always plays into it. You can see that in almost any study. I think that your relationship with your father, especially as a woman, but anybody. Yeah. So it's like your relationship with your father. Chasing being good enough, chasing worthiness, chasing love. Right. And if that is only being found in the next relationship, then you end up doing the decisions like me. And then you need to heal and because of PTSD for 6 years. Right. Yeah. So what helped you make that change? So I really think that, you know, you go through it, and when you give it enough separation. So I think that's what happened is there had been enough separation. There hadn't been separation, and I was always kind of like, oh, is that my prince? Is that my knight in shining armor? Everywhere I went, like I thought it was a fairy tale. So if I went to a basketball game, oh, is there somebody here that's gonna like sweep me up or see me and think whatever, and that you're finding my value. But enough space got created, and I think that's all it took. It's like I was watching a podcast and he was talking about how do you become a morning person? How do you get up at 5 a.m.? And he's like, the first 3 days are awful. You're going to hate it. And this is what you do. And I think that same thing happened. There was enough time. There was enough distance of being single. And then it was like, okay, wait, I can do this. Yeah. I really like this. I want to do this. And honestly, so the business that I'm in really has did a lot of personal growth and self-development. Of course, my relationship with the Lord growing, but this confidence that I didn't have started to grow. I started to feel good about myself. I started to feel like I was capable of so many things. And then the space just kept growing. And then I started to sit with myself more and be okay in the company of myself. I didn't have to have people around me all the time or be running or going. And that's what I did. People around all the time. Always a party, always planning something. Like you said, with work, mine was with stuff, always busy. Yeah. And then it was like, wait, I kind of like this. And then I started to grow, and I started to grow with the Lord, and I started to grow myself, you know, developed strengths and worthiness and all of that. And then it was like, oh, wait,
And now it's funny. You've seen the jokes where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I overlooked so many things in every relationship. And now, like, one thing I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't want to be like that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to be that way. I want to be picky enough, you know?
Yeah.
But I also do feel like, man, the Lord's going to drop someone on my porch. Like,
Yeah.
literally knocking on my door.
It's definitely different. You know, I got married at 18.
Mhm.
So it is a totally different thing in your 30s and 40s
Yes.
as a set adult, especially someone that has kids and a whole life.
And a routine.
It is totally different, and that's a whole battle in itself.
It is.
So I'm kind of with you. I think that it has its challenges, and I think it just has to be the right person.
It does.
But
and I think that think that at our age now and knowing what healthy love should look like,
right.
and knowing that it's there, knowing that there is potential for someone to love you the right way. And I think when you know that and when you find that, then
Right.
you can get through all the other stuff and it's not so dramatic.
Yeah.
Like I remember everything was just so dramatic and everything was such a big deal and everything was so life altering.
Right.
You know, and everything felt so big and hard. Whereas now, like my biggest prayer now, even 6 years out, is will I be able to accept the healthy love when it does find me? And that's one of my biggest, I don't want to say worries or concerns because I feel like it'll be okay. But dating at this age, or not dating because I'm not, but like, you know what I mean?
I mean, it's hard.
Yeah,
you know,
like,
you have a lot more
gonna,
scars, a lot more baggage, a lot more.
Am I going
shame,
to recognize it?
You know?
Am I going to accept it? Is it going to feel off? You know? Is it going to freak me out? I feel like it's going to freak me out.
Yeah, yeah. I have that same fear too. So
I mean, you've been there with me for some.
Yeah. So, what would you say to a young mom just starting out? What would be your advice?
Like post-divorce? It's going to be hard, but just and I don't want to say just be by yourself because God can do anything. But my thing is be in intentional prayer and don't let yourself be clouded by your wants, your desires, what's going to make you feel better temporarily. Right? There's a quote and I love it. And it says, don't sacrifice what you want most for what you want right now. And that's what we do. We sacrifice long-term often because now feels good. Now feels good enough. Oh, that red flag is pink. Or, oh, I can deal with this forever. And I think really taking time to genuinely heal, being very true to what your values are and not saying, these are my values. These are the things I want. And now he has 2 out of the 10. That's good enough. That's all I can have. Or that feels good enough for right now. Or, you know, I think what happens is somebody comes along and it takes the financial burden off of us. It makes us feel good. We're not alone. We have someone to help us. But is it everything that God wants for you to make you better? To come, like I need a specific kind of person that is willing to come alongside of my life. And so like, I think it's for someone new starting out. I mean, don't you think like, take some time, know exactly what works for you. Like, I don't want to be selfish because like I said, God can do anything, but you have to be realistic too. And am I going to be happy with the way things are right now in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Because I don't want to do this again. I will not go through another breakup. I will not go through a divorce ever again in my life, period. So am I doing everything I can to, first of all, be the person that my person would want to be with? So like if I want all of these features and all of these things and someone to be whole and great and am I going to be the wife? Am I building myself to be that wife?
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest thing is like, take time, travel, have fun with your friends, grow yourself, do things you never got to do, especially if you got married young. Like, who are you outside of a relationship?
Yeah.
You know, and now become the greatest version of yourself.
Right.
And that's where I am right now. I'm becoming the greatest version of myself so that I can offer that to someone. But what about you?
I think you said it perfectly. And that is what I would say. I would tell myself, you're not going to do it perfect.
Right.
And that would be hard for me to hear at that time because I'm such a perfectionist.
Yeah.
But that's the hardest thing that I've struggled with is the times when I've failed, not had the right answer, not made the right decision. You know, you're figuring it out. You are coming out of a very painful decision nobody knows it all. Nobody knows the path.
Exactly.
Hindsight is 20/20. Okay.
100%.
So I would tell them, you're not going to do it perfect.
Yeah.
But I love what you said. Be intentional and choose the life you want 10 years from now, 20 years from now, not what is going to help you get through the night tonight.
Yeah, or what's going to get you through the next few months, or what's going to feel good right now, like the immediate. And that's the thing, right? We're in this society of instant gratification, and that's why dating's hard, right? We're swiping. There's people all over the internet. You can access anyone in the world, and so it brings this level. But like, that's instant gratification. What is real? What is going to be long lasting?
Yeah.
Who are you willing to stand by?
Right.
And not, you know what I mean? Like, who do I want to be a figure in my children's lives? That wasn't a thought to me. Like, it really didn't dawn on me. Like, do I want my daughters to emulate my daughter? I have one.
Yeah.
You know, where multiple came from, to emulate this man.
Right.
Would I be happy if my son grew up to be just like this man?
Right.
And you don't know that right away. Like, you can't know that about somebody. And it's not to say that there aren't people that fall in love fast and get married and stay together forever. And I like to think that they just had these healthy backgrounds or something. I don't know. But I really think that you have to take time to get to know you, and you have to get to know them. Right. And you don't get to know someone over a few fun whatever. It's like, what is the hard going to be like?
Especially when you are coming off of such an emotional recovery, or much emotional place.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot make a healthy decision when you are in an emotional rebound of something so life-changing as a divorce. So that is another thing to consider.
Yeah.
I don't think any therapist, doctor, counselor, anything would tell you, it's like, you don't even have a minor medical procedure and they say don't go home and make any purchases. You know what I mean? But like, we have you're going through your entire world is upside down, and now you are making life decisions for you and your kids.
And there's grief.
It takes time.
You have to grieve, whether it was your decision or not. There's grieving.
There's grieving whether you think it or not.
Exactly.
There is. And there's grieving for your kids. It takes time.
I think about that. That's one of the hardest things. And if I can say anything to someone with kids, for them, like, this isn't about you anymore. I think I said this to a friend recently, but I'm like, this isn't about you. This is about them. And how do you make them feel so protected and safe? Because it's a change. Like, I know me, it's like, how I feel and all that. And I love my kids. I feel like I'm a great mom. The thing I've done best in my life is be a mom. But it's like, you forget that all of this is impacting them too. So now divorce is hard. Divorce is messy. Divorce is grief. Then you don't even factor in like your childhood traumas, your issues, how a basic divorce is hard. But then, like, what kind of divorce are you coming out of? You might need more time, unfortunately, to heal all those wounds, to be making choices from a actual healthy place. And I don't think until last year I would have done that. I think I needed this much time, which is annoying. But I really do think that, like, I looked at Pastor Terry the other day and I go, I think I might be ready. And she laughed at me. She's like, you think? I'm like, I think I might be ready. Someone's going to have to be really, like, persistent and like, it's okay, like a feral cat.
But we're gonna get there.
We're gonna get there.
Okay, Donna, well, thank you so much for talking to me today. And like I said, this is going to be the first of many. There are so many things that I feel like we need to talk about. We need to unpack this for not just us. We are seeing so many women go through the same things. And I think this is going to be great for so many people. So thank you so much for talking to me today.
Yeah, of course.